Speaking of misplays, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Pit Against State Live, which is what Colin Show and William Table and Lace. Joined by my constant co-host, Kevin Smurph Murphy. Kevin, what's up?
What's up?
Pit Against the Live Colin Show. If you'd like to be live on air talking to us about your hot take, join the Pit Against Discord by clicking on the link in the description. Join the waiting room channel, hot take in the topics text channel. Like your take, put you in the... You can also put it in the chat.
Why? Yeah, hang on. My lighting looks so bad.
Your lighting looks funny in little bits of my face.
It looked incredibly washed out. Hang on.
This is my apology to everyone where we're trying to train a little bit to not attack people. And if in the event that he attacks people, he thinks it's play, you're supposed to make a high-pitched noise to let them know playtime's over. You won. It's done. I will hopefully not be shrill or loud, but I might make a eep. I might make a eep.
Little eep.
A little eep. A little eepy. Kevin, what's actually up? How are you doing? How's it going, buddy?
I'm tired.
Your lighting is because of your window. I just now realized that.
Yeah. Yeah, hang on.
I just looked at your light. It's because it's trying to... You can't hear me. That didn't help. That didn't help.
Not going to help.
But it's just because...
That's not going to help at all.
No, it's just because your camera's trying to auto adjust and it's so bright coming out of your window. It just needs to be darker or later in the year.
We need it to be wintertime.
Yeah,
right.
or overcast.
I think I have a compromise.
Oh, he's gone to go fix it.
I know you don't like backlighting, but this is probably better.
Weirdly better.
Slightly?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, cool.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yes,
oh, yeah,
if you have a take, put it in Discord and we can pull you on air and talk about it if you want to be on the show. And if you don't want to be on the show, you can put it in the topics text channel, in the comments, in the chat, in the video description, if you can find your way there. I just thought Kevin was that pale, Timothy Scroggs.
Okay, brother.
All right. First topic. We currently have Acilio. We currently have two Acilios. And their names escape me. Acilio.
Aurorio.
And
no. Spellio.
No.
Yes. That's the Majin Bay.
Wait. I still don't know how to spell Acilio. What the frick?
What?
How do you spell Acilio?
Oscilio.
OSC. Okay, so we have 5 Acilios.
That is the claim I believe that Tyler Luce made.
Is that what he made? So we have Acilio.
Yeah.
We have Acilio Scion of the Third Age.
Oh.
I don't know what claim he was making. Acilio Forked Continuum. Acilio Constella Intelligence. And Acilio Forked Continuum 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Uh-huh.
We have...
Do you want to go read his actual claim?
I didn't read his actual claim.
Of course you didn't.
Holy frick. All right, here's what I'm trying to get at. I just now read his take. I didn't actually know. I didn't see that part at all, actually. Here's the thing, is we have OG Acilio. Starts at 36 life. Elemental Wizard. Essence of Lightning. Discards a card for free.
Yes.
And then we have the new one. It costs 1 and it does things. And it makes a ponder token. It's a deck.
This is the take.
It's a deck.
No, none of this is the take.
But we have a third Acilio. Which is the first Acilio. The first Acilio is currently being played in 2 different ways. with a Gone in
At
a
least.
Flash and attack actions, and it looks like old Aurora, and it's got
Yes.
Rabble and Scar for a Scar and
Jesus.
all the cards. And then
Yeah.
there's also Kano Light, Big Arcane.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And so you have like, this is just, you know, I don't mean to say that it's not a real deck, because I think both decks are kind of real, but
They are.
to draw comparisons to explain the decks better without using genres, it's like an Aurora-like list and a Kano-like list.
Yeah.
A more lightning focused, a more wizard focused Acilio.
Yes.
Our boy Loose put Gone in, the 5 Acilios. Gone in a Flash, Aether Flare, Counterburn, Sigil of Fate combo, and Brainstorm. Which is what we'll be talking about today, Brainstorm, obviously.
Yeah. I do think at least from that, Sigil of Fate combo and Aether Flare are the same thing. You're using the Sigils of Fate with Aether Bindings of the Third Age to pump an Aether Flare up a bunch, which then will pump something else up a bunch, usually a Snapback or a Strike Twice. You can also set up stuff with Sigil of Temporal Manifestations. With those Sigils of Fate, opting cards away to find something off the top to play as though it were an instant. I don't think I'm counting Sigil of Fate combo and Aether Flare as separate decks, and I think Counterburn is like...
What is Counterburn?
A deck that
I was going to ask.
It's like... It's mid-range with Arcane, and it's going to play stuff like Cosmic Suture, and...
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds like Acilio 2.
You took an Acilio 2 shell, and you put it in Acilio 1 because the hero ability is just strictly better for people right now.
Okay.
Because it just works.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to mess around with the secondary resource for it.
Okay.
I don't know that I would count that as a real deck. It's a deck you'll find online, for sure. But it's not something I would be worried about game planning for in an event.
Tim described that one as Verdance Light.
Yeah, that's fair. Where you're going to send some 2-card 7s, 2-card 8s, and then you have, like, you're just a very block 2, send 2 deck. That's fair, I think.
And then the last one's Brainstorm.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing until today when I read that and saw the deck list that was posted.
I think I saw a deck list yesterday that was similar.
Sure. That is an entirely different deck, and I'm not sure how you would sideboard for it compared to the other ones. I'm also not sure how it would mess with your sideboard, but it is playing very differently than the other Acilio decks. So, like, if that becomes like an actual thing that's like running around,
I was going to ask. I wonder how effective the strategy is.
I mean, it made top 8 of a Nationals, and it was being played by Sebastian Grondel, who is a multi-time calling winner, I believe. So I am willing to count that as something that should be on my radar. Yeah.
Spike Armory by bringing Acilio 3 weeks in a row, and each one's completely different deck.
Every single one is different. Yeah. So
the real question is
number of variants. Then.
There's a decent number of variants, and the original question was like a whole dialogue going back and forth on call-in topics, where they were talking about how some people were like, I hate the fact that Acilio now has 2 versions. You can get burned so easily by choosing the wrong one to side for. And this is a hypothetical that I think I brought up before the stream. But what if you're playing a deck where your equipment is valuable, but you run blues, and so you could feasibly run no Arcane Barrier, or you could run 3 Arcane Barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And in some of these versions, you might play a couple of games and be like, I want AB3 into Big Spell Acilio, and I want AB0 into Gone in a Flash Acilio.
Yeah.
Which those are for the purpose of this conversation, those are the 2 main ones that we'll probably be talking about. Tim, no. Brainstorm, stop.
I just saw where Tim said about 230 and Josh goes kilograms?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, holy.
Tim walks in the armory like this. Hello.
There's suddenly
Walks
two
in
of
like
him.
Jarl.
Um, so I mean, this isn't specifically about Acilio. Acilio is the example, but it's like if you need to sideboard substantially differently because the versions of the deck play substantially differently. The two versions have to play different enough. This is, and it's like you can hedge pretty reasonably well between like hatchets and Dawnblade Dory. I think you can hedge reasonably well between hatchets and Great Axe. I don't know that you can hedge well between Dawnblade and Great Axe, or between Fang's Fireveins and Great Axe.
I
It
also
is
think
very hard to hedge between the heavy arcane Acilio of Speleo and the heavy physical damage of Aurorio,
I think
where
it
a
does.
sideboard will work for
Yeah,
both.
I think it does also depend on the deck you're playing as well, because some decks really only have one option, or your deck is so
Sure.
proactive enough to where you're trying to enact your game plan more than worry
Yes.
about theirs.
Yep.
So it doesn't work in
Yes.
all scenarios, but it does work. Tim
Yeah.
brings up OG Dash.
Yeah. So some decks just straight up won't care. I don't count OG Dash in the same way.
Okay.
And that's because OG Dash's game plan was focused on your game plan. And you could
like a switch
reasonably
list.
predict what OG, well, beyond Turtle Dash showing up.
Well, I think that's what he means.
If it was like full Turtle Dash, sure, you can get got by that, but I still think that's not as big a difference as the Acilio deck is giving right now.
It was something that showed up a lot at my locals because there was some diehard turtle players, and there was also some people who just wanted to go boost, boost, boost. But you knew those people because they were locals. If you were at an event where you didn't know them, you could get got.
Yeah, I think I still think it's a little bit. I still think it's less of a difference, but yes, and it is fundamentally a question of like, is that a good thing for the game to have? And I think there's actually two cases where it's good, or like two cases that can be good for the game, which is very few decks do this.
Yeah.
Which I think Acilio being the only one is like
in this meta
borderline starting to get into an issue where it's like you start having, because the actual issue is the number of non-games this causes.
That's a good way to break it down. No, I agree.
Because if you can still have games to be played regardless of which version you sit down across from, because like the other two top decks are Dash.io, who plays the same into both of them, and Syndra, who plays the same into both of them. Those aren't going to care.
Yeah.
The decks that are going to care are going to be Kasai and Jarl. But Jarl is going to be like, I'll sack this version, whatever. I can't deal with it. It doesn't matter. I'll play against this version. Kasai,
I think this one's going to show up more or something like that.
Yeah. Kasai, though, if you sit down with AB3, you could reasonably play into Speleo, but then if you sit down with AB3 against Aurorio, you're going to get cooked. Like, so it's a measure of how many times it's happening. But then also, I think if you have enough decks in the meta doing it where it's like 50% of heroes that you sit down across from have multiple game plans, you start getting into really interesting territory of like how you need to be able to hedge. Your deck has to be able to hedge in like game plans. And I don't know how they make that metagame healthy, but you could reach a point where, because every game you're sitting down across from has multiple game plans, there's a world where that meta is healthy and like actually very interesting, because you start having to like make choices. You start sitting down blind against. It's like you're playing Magic and you don't know what colors the opponent is on.
It's interesting because it's like it's the same mindset of like deck building where you like build something ahead of time and then you show up with it. In this instance, you are making a bet ahead of the game itself. It's just after you've sat down at the table.
Yeah.
I feel like in that kind of meta, you would just want to play the Syndra. You would want to play the deck that just
You
ignores
would
them.
want to be playing proactive decks, yes. Because you want something that's going to be good into generically everything, but then it's like, okay, well, how different is a red line Syndra versus a blue line Syndra?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like,
oh, interesting.
Because that is something you could sit down across from. I played against a blue Syndra at Nats that had dual threat.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Like, and it's that deck was like still good, but it was that's a much lower level of it because it's still Syndra, but the effectiveness of your tech cards will change because they're sending daggers more often.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would be interested to see what happens to the game where there's a meta where a lot of heroes have multiple game plans. But I think there needs to not be a huge disparity in the game plans.
I feel like
the
game would just naturally like
it is built to weed out some of that.
Yeah. Metas in general, the concept of competition will weed all of that out.
And part of that is because it's like, why do we so often only end up with one aggro deck in the meta?
It's because there are a lot of options, and one of them is it's the highest aggressive value deck, and this one creates the most
better than the others, and that's it.
Now,
so like
there are sometimes we have multiple aggro decks because they attack the meta in different ways, like when we had Viscerai and all that nonsense.
Viscerai, Zen, Aurora.
Yeah.
Yeah, that meta was great. That meta was sick because you were playing game plans against each other deck.
So good, actually.
Like, and having 3 viable aggro decks at the same time is like, huh?
That's why I was really hoping this Aurora would be great. Imagine having Fi and Aurora in the same meta. That could be kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Fi, Syndra,
Aurora.
Yeah.
Because they all attack the game a little differently.
A little bit, yeah.
I liked the idea of the answer is probably somewhere in how many non-games are made. Because if you sit down to build the deck and you're like, I can build it this way, where I win against deck A and lose against version A and lose against version B. Win against version A, lose against version B every time.
Mm-hmm.
That feels bad. If you can sideboard your deck to where it's the opposite, that still feels bad. If it's like, I can sideboard my deck. Right now, I'm 40% into both, and if I invest sideboard in, I can get one of them up to 60. That's a lot more real. That's a lot more reasonable.
But you're still guessing.
You're still guessing. And in like an interesting way, because it is a hedge. It's almost like you're in the same way you would pick a deck for an event, you are picking your sideboard for an event. What do I expect the Americans to play into this? What do I expect the international community to play? Which I think is what people have to do for the Pro Tour coming up, right?
A little bit, yeah.
It's in America, but it is international.
It's an international event.
Yeah.
When you go to the calling, that's more American.
Yes.
But
I guess you do need invites. It's not going to be open entry. So
yeah,
it is more international.
The PT is an international.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Event. And so in that sense, you have to. I think there is some very easy world where you could be like, I know what my national meta or my regional meta looks like, and I can hedge for this kind of Acilio as opposed to that one, or not Acilio at all because they want to play Jarl. So I think it can be interesting. I think where it's currently at, I don't know.
And I think it's because like the tools to deal with one deck versus the other don't cross over super well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I don't think it's that terrible, but I will say that there was, I think, talk of like at UK Nats there was a cheat sheet going around with which version of Acilio everyone was playing.
Oh my gosh!
Like actually written down and handed
so
person to person.
I can't tell if that's based or cringed. Like, I can't tell if that's
Yeah,
like, guys, what are you doing? But at the
which
same time, you're like, you know what? This is a big event. I mean,
which like as a team, we definitely like scout and see what
sure.
notable players are doing.
Yeah.
And if we play against somebody, we drop a note with the everything in like a channel, but like
Hmm.
I don't know, that feels like it's par for the course and like we're not handing it around
Yeah.
publicly, and I don't know. Scouting feels like part of the game at some point,
Yeah.
especially when you have stuff on stream. Like it's unavoidable to a degree
It
when you're going
is
to stream it.
at least a minor advantage that you can just naturally get just by watching the stream or by walking around,
Yeah.
and it's hard to prevent, and it's accepted. People are like, I this is just how it works. I think
Hmm.
that's fine. So,
Because it's also to some degree there is some degree of fairness I think to it in that yeah, everyone's deck is face up at that point.
mhm.
Not face up, but like you can look over and see what the person next to you is playing.
Yeah, yeah. It would be
Like
impossible to weed that out. So,
when you get to the later rounds of any PQ or something, you know what everyone is on at the
mhm.
top four tables in round 4 or 5. So, but I don't know. Understand if the current Acilio situation is like a little bit too far for some people, but I also don't think it's too bad. I think the matchups where I don't know that there's a ton of matchups where it actually makes a difference right now.
I Kasai's the only one I can think of. Um,
I don't think it makes a difference for Kasai. I think Kasai struggles into both.
Fair enough then. I don't know. I don't have enough experience into the deck. I don't have as much experience into the meta right now either, as I
Hmm.
don't have as much events going on. Um,
Hmm.
and so the only Flesh and Blood I've really been playing is just like in person. I haven't been doing a
Sure.
lot of testing. So
Yeah.
I think that's mostly it. I think we hit like a fairly neutral take where we're like, it can be interesting. It can be obnoxious. It's like in the middle between interesting and obnoxious right now with Acilio.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
much more interesting if Brainstorm is a real card. Actually, it's
Yeah.
probably more obnoxious at that point, right?
It probably is, but I think there's also just not a ton of ways to interact with that
Yeah.
as much. Um, I guess it's that actually can get weird. I think for like Guardians, because the way you beat that deck is like being actively disruptive and putting a clock on them, and they don't want to race the other Acilios. They want to pseudo fatigue them or actually just fatigue them. Um, so that might be actually an interesting issue if Brainstorm is like a real deck.
Hmm.
So
Well, I think I've answered this at least in the point of just play Fi. It's your $20 ticket to the $2 million Pro Tour, World Tour.
sure.
Just play Fi. It
Yep.
wins. It wins games. All right. Next topic. Um, how do I begin? Talishar, the Lost Prince.
Time to upset people.
I mean, like, I don't want to upset people.
I'm
I feel
not
like
trying to.
I feel like I'm upset people.
Well, I think we're both currently the
I
upset
think
people
we're the
about this
upset
one.
people. I think we're the sore ones. And
Yeah.
so I'll start with um the what was the term I used earlier? I think I forgot the term earlier as well, and so I also didn't say it, and I was hoping by now I'd remember it. But I'm going to start with some like prerequisite statements.
Qualifying statements.
Qualifying statements. I have worked with or talked with or hung out with or feel like I have good rapport with, would call a friend. I think everyone that works on Talishar.
Yeah.
I think I have worked with all of them on something. Now that I've said it out loud, I think I've either met them in person or worked with all of them on something. They're all very
Hmm.
reasonable people. I
Hmm.
would call several of them friends, and I respect the work they do, and um, I use Talishar all the time. I've used it
Yep.
extensively. I appreciate the fact that we have a platform.
Mhm.
I think I've said this in another show where I've heard a couple of people say that well, I if it wasn't okay, so if it wasn't for Talishar, I don't think Flesh and Blood would be where it is right now
Nope.
because COVID was particularly rough, and if we didn't have an online client, we would all be forced to play webcam.
Did okay? Quick clarifier: was
Oh,
Talishar like actually around during COVID? Because I thought it started in like 22 or like end of 21
I thought it's I th- I thought it started end of 20.
as like Fab Online.
Yes.
Okay,
I think so. Somebody who knows more than me, let me know. But I thought it started end of
same.
20 because I don't know.
Either way, uh, Flesh and Blood is not here and as successful as it is without Talishar. It's
Yeah,
just not.
there's literally Pro Tour champion Matt Folks in his interview post winning the Pro Tour. He
Hmm.
was like, "Oh no, I only play Flesh and Blood online these days." Like, it was
Yep.
something to the effect of like, it was Flesh and Blood online in 2021, I think, says Tim. Um,
Yeah, it was still Fab Online when I started playing in 22.
yes, yeah. I guess when I described it as Talishar, I just meant the
Yeah, yeah,
online
yeah.
program, but I don't know. I've used it a ton. I recommend it to people when they first get into the game. I think
Yep.
it's clean enough. I don't feel like I have to address a
Yeah.
ton of bugs. It is well updated.
And and if there are bugs and I report them, they're fixed very quickly.
Yeah. We had an incident, I shouldn't say incident. We had a moment where we were doing a stream for
Yeah.
the cube.
Hmm.
And the shapeshifter cube, and they live updated it in the last round of the cube to
At a shapeshifter macro.
it's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so neat, and it's actually like, I don't know. I think Talashar's a great community project, fan project. It's technically open source. You can submit whatever changes you want
Yep.
to it, and they'll review them. And if it
Yep.
works out, then they'll put it in. Um, I have so many pros for Talishar.
Yep.
I felt like there's even some that I'm leaving out that I'm not even thinking of right now.
But
Yes, as Tim said, it's what I would
yeah,
tell new players to find out what deck they want to play. Flesh and Blood
it
is
it
very
was
expensive.
it was one of the most like mind-blowing things having like only played like Hearthstone where I was like, wait, I can just put any card in. I can use any card.
Oh yeah,
I don't have
yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
through anything.
I first started playing on Felt Table, which
Yep.
was
Same.
you versus a bot, and
It's
that's
still up.
great for like the first 10 games, and then you're like,
Yeah.
at some point you start to recognize the cracks in the bots, and then you maybe exploit that, and then you're like, I'm not playing the game anymore, and then you play locals and you play Talishar. You play against people because
Yep.
I think that's the thing is like Talishar is it is definitely for people who don't have a locals or don't have a strong scene or need or want to play in situations where they normally couldn't.
Yeah.
It's great for all of that stuff. Tim started on Tabletop Simulator. I Tabletop Simulator is fine. I found webcam to be too tedious. I think I would not have stayed for the game if I could only play it through webcam.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. That's all the qualifying statements I have out of the way. Do you have any you want to say? Because I feel like it's important to put them forward before we critique the piss out of them.
Um no, I think it's just like this game wouldn't be where it is without Talishar, and Talishar is honestly at this point synonymous with Flesh and Blood for me.
There's most testing teams for events are international or at least not a local community.
Yeah.
And so they need to use Talishar in order to test things, prove
Hmm.
things, do stuff like that. Anyways, all right, all this out of the way. Talishar made some changes. Actually, what was the original post? It was on Bluesky, right?
Yeah. They made a post on Bluesky about it.
Yeah, so they made a post on Bluesky that said, here it is. Is this it? Now I'm checking this is only proving our point. Yeah, okay. So
On Monday.
on Monday they made a post and it just says rust counters. What are they? Non-supporters accrue rust counters as they play at 3 queuing pauses. Paid supporters, no change. Everything's the same. Thank you. Free users, clear counters by watching a short ad or remove them via Metafy, $5 a month. I'm literally looking at this right now and I'm like, it's jarring. I have so many questions.
Yep.
Okay, so for context, Talishar is free. Like, it had been free. It's a community-driven project, and the idea was just if you wanted to
free in the so part of this is we're already going to get into it.
Yeah. All right,
It
go ahead.
was
I mean, we're
truly
getting into
free.
it.
There was nothing that stopped you from pressing the button to join a game. Nothing. You had a deck list, you put it in, that was it, you went.
That previously you didn't have to have an account either, because I believe if you you have to have an account now. I think you can spectate games, or is it the other way around?
No, it's the other way around where you can't spectate if you don't have an account because they didn't want people just like scraping all the live games.
Okay. Good. Anyways, you just make an account and play the game. Make your deck in February.
Yep.
Perfect. But now if you're going to play and you're not going to subscribe to their Metafy, you get an ad in the corner when you play the game. Yep. And after 3 games, you have to watch an ad or view an ad.
Yeah.
I'll let you go from here.
So my biggest issue, I think, with this is they claim that it is still free. And I don't agree that it's free. I think I take a
free users.
Honestly, a similar stance to Cody Williams on this one, which is it's now a product. It's now a paid service. And you either give them your money on Metafy or you give them your time. And it's a part of it comes down to like something they themselves have why they're doing this. I'm going to use their own logic for why they're doing this.
Okay.
For all the stuff on Metafy and everywhere where it says to support them, it's for keeping the servers running and doing X, which they've used a couple different phrases for supporting them directly as individuals, compensating them for their time.
And we say this is open source. Anyone can submit things.
Yes.
Who are they? Is it?
I'm going to specifically say it's Jotrick and Uthamunk.
Okay.
Nate.
Yeah.
In this because they're the ones who get paid by the Talishar Metafy. They're the ones who receive the money from it. By their own numbers that they posted in their Discord publicly, which are still there the last time I checked, I believe yesterday. They were each receiving $1,500 a month before Rust Counter ads. They were receiving $1,500 a month, and their server upkeep costs or any other cost, they included domain stuff and a bunch of other things in that list, is about $200 a month. So they're, before this, more than covering their server costs. This increase is not going to be about server costs. This is because they want to get paid for their time. And I fully understand that. They're doing work and probably something that is effectively their job, but they're doing it in their spare time away from their 40-hour-a-week full-time job.
They also have family. I know that they both have families and, they have other things they could be doing.
I fully understand the desire to be compensated for your time. And this is them saying, my time is worth something. So, they have now said, if you want to keep playing, give us your money or your time. And they have already stated that time is worth something. So we're either paying them with our money or our time.
Yeah.
And then if we give them time, they're selling that time to an advertiser, an ad provider, whatever, to say, effectively selling that time to them and running ads. This is no longer a free service, even though they claim it is a free service and it will always be a free service. It's not. If you want me to respect your time and compensate you for your time, if I'm giving you my time, I'm paying you.
Yes.
That's my like first issue with the way they're communicating this. And a lot of these messages have been in their server. None of it in their public server.
Yes.
This is not DMs, but this is not on Twitter or Bluesky either.
A lot of the discussion had publicly is also misinformed, where I think there is a lot of people who do believe that server costs are not being paid for, and that's what this is covering.
Yes. This is the like biggest misunderstanding that I've seen, and it's part of why I asked the question, is because I didn't know where
I
they
assumed
were financially.
That they were in the negative.
I assumed they were negative or it was close. Because the way they always talk, it's like, and everyone always talks, it's like servers are so expensive, running this has got to be a pain, it's got to be crazy. And I was like, hey, like what do these numbers look like? If we're having to do this,
if we're getting to this point,
look like?
Yeah.
Because this is suddenly another step to me. And they show those numbers, and I'm like, you are taking home $1,100 more than your server costs. 6.5 times your server costs. This is not about server costs. This is about you wanting to be compensated for your time. Totally understand. But not everyone, a lot of people were under the impression that this was because they were negative on money for server costs because the game is growing or all that stuff, or it was close and they weren't like getting anything. They're barely getting anything. They're getting less than $1 an hour for their time or whatever. They're getting about $8 an hour if they're working 40-hour weeks on Talishar. That's not good. That's not market for software development. That's not nothing either. That is not they're on the edge of losing money. That is they're making in 2 months their entire server cost for a year.
Yeah.
So
no, they're covered. Yeah.
When I saw those numbers, that like kind of changed the way I looked at it a bit of, okay, this is them wanting to make more money. This feels weird. Because it didn't feel like it felt disrespectful in a way.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to Nathan's question from last night that sparked his stream, which is content creators don't owe you anything.
Which is, it has other meaning than this conversation, but yes.
Yes. And it goes both ways. It's your viewers, the people you want to be your viewers, don't owe you anything as a content creator either. It goes both ways. This is Talishar telling us that we owe them. They are saying no matter what, if you use our site, we're going to make money off of it.
Okay. So what you're getting at is they're not content creators.
They're no longer a content creator.
A business.
This is a company, this is a business and a company that's selling a product.
Yes.
Which is fine. If they want to go that route, that's fine. As monetizing their IP, we can get into the LSS part later.
Remind us.
Remind
me.
We can get into that later, but yeah. This is a product now. And I share the opinion that was on Rantaways today, which they did a much shorter section on this than I expected them to, in all honesty, of this is a product, and if I pay for this product, I'm going to treat it like a product, and I'm going to treat you like a business. And if you don't, we no longer are doing this out of mutual respect. We are doing this out of one of us is giving the other money, and the other one is giving the other a product.
Yeah.
And there are expectations that come with that.
Yeah.
I don't like that for Talishar. That doesn't feel right because they still want it to be treated as a community project, as a free service.
Here's me being callous. Here's me being callous. When I see a Wendy's ad that says like, "Hello gamers, pog up and drink a Coke. Get one from Wendy's today." And it's like the response is an image of a crab shooting laser beams at another crab that says "Silence, company," or what I forgot the expression. Yeah, it's like "Shut up, corporation," and it's like, don't try to personalize yourself with me. You're selling me something. This is a business transaction. Yes. I want nuggets, and I'm giving you money for it.
Yes.
I want to play Flesh and Blood wherever I want to. I am paying for that service.
Yes. And it's the whole premise of where I'm at is I'm treating it as a service because I have to pay you. And I'm not going to... Mm-hmm. There was a lot of... It felt like smug responses of, just pay $5. Just hit the button and watch a short ad. And then you can go back to playing. And I'm like...
Don't you have phones?
That's... Yes.
It's that
is exactly what it felt like. Do you not have phones?
Do you people not have phones? Like...
Yeah. And I'm like... Okay. Hey,
don't turn this around on me.
No. Do not patronize me. Do not... There is one thing that content creators and their viewers owe each other. There's one thing, and that is respect. And you have given up your respect when you start talking.
That's it. Oh, that's... Wow. Because we had a conversation about this previously, and I think that didn't quite click immediately, but that makes a lot of sense because we were talking, because what Nathan said was content creators owe nothing to their fan base and vice versa. And I don't think that's entirely true. I think it's what you said. I think that makes sense.
Yes. It is. Respect is the only thing that we owe each other, and that's a basic human decency.
And it feels very human in that sense as well.
Yes.
That's why people have crippling debt on Twitch.
And I kept and like I kept going through the conversations that were in there, and I didn't like... I don't feel like I was antagonistic, but I asked some questions, and because I wanted information.
Yes, yeah.
I asked a couple more today, like about like what do the numbers on Talishar look like, and the numbers are effectively the same from before and after the change.
Tim, we'll get back to both of those, but go ahead.
And like one of the messages that felt the strangest, because they still want to be counted as content creators.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, I'm still considering myself good friends with all these people. I know I'm on a first name basis, but when it comes to Talishar specifically and me using their product, because it's a product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. They still want to be considered content creators, which also I have another piece of that. I don't think they're content creators, and because also the number of messages I've seen of they do this because they love the game, they're doing it for the thrill of it and expect nothing in return. This is them fully expecting something in return now.
Yeah.
This is.
Yes.
And it's not an unreasonable expectation.
No.
But this is, and part of this is I think people not realizing where their server costs at and server costs are at in relation to their revenue. Again, if that's a closer number, totally yes, on board. That's not what this is anymore. That's part of, like, I read that statement, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
It is not.
Because if that was what they were doing, they would find another way to monetize, I think. And I say that as a content creator. And then the piece that got me, the piece that I think like made me snap is when...
Actually, wait. When you say another way to monetize, for an example, the Table Pit monetizes through merchandise. And the difference is the videos are always free.
Yes.
The content is free.
I have started to try and monetize.
If you would
and
like
I did
to,
that by doing more. None of my stuff from before is now paywalled. I'm starting to do more content than I was doing before.
Yes.
And some of the new stuff, which is still like basically replacement, like parallel to my free stuff, because it's like written tournament reports that go with my video ones. What am I paywalling with that?
When somebody buys a shirt, and oftentimes I know that person personally because the table pit's not super huge. It's them paying me and a company, the company that makes the merch, for the shirt, for the idea, for the shirt, because we have a good rapport and respect for each other as people, and they think that thing's funny, and it's way less, it's way more personal, and it's way less business-like in that sense.
This is like one of the biggest things I've had like since I started doing this is like people will like ask me like how can I support you? Where can I buy something? And I'm like, it's over here. There isn't anything substantial in my there isn't a ton substantial because I don't want to paywall stuff. It's if you want to support me, this is a way you can do it. I don't need to.
I make videos because I want to make videos for the love of the sport. And I want to put something out there. You often say, this is your line, you want to give back to the community. And I think that's very wholesome. And I don't know if I can go that far. I think I just want to make stupid videos.
Sure.
And in that sense, it's like, that's why I'm doing it. If I can make a shirt and then someone wears the funny shirt, that's great.
Yeah.
And I also
makes another person laugh.
Have bought more merch from myself than any other individual. I am wearing I bought this with my money.
And the piece of this is the line. I didn't realize this line would hit the way it did. Where is it? I want to find it. Where'd it go?
I want a split of the money you made from when I was on Pit Against. All right, wait, we're going to pivot into this real quick. Here's how much money the Table Pit has made. I pulled up these numbers because I thought it was funny, right? So we were talking about Talishar brings in an excess for each person, $1,100, give or take. The Table Pit lifetime since
2022,
dude, where is it? I just had it. It's 2022 is when we first started the Patreon. We have made, and it's gone up and down. We've made $1,340.45, and I've always put that the Table Pit money from the Patreon has to go into the Table Pit. And so, I mean, I'm loose with this ruling, but like it's microphones, it's lights, it's cameras, it's not even decks, it's not cards, it's not Flesh and Blood. I think I one time paid for an event that I went to, and then I think that was it. Like, I think that was the most egregious spend of money, was I went to a Flesh and Blood event and put $50 into that. I also, we sell the merch. We have sold $157 worth of merch, which is more than I thought.
That's actually less than I thought.
No. Yeah, $157.12 on merch. And on YouTube, we have made exactly, from YouTube, $0. 0 cents. I've spent more. And also a part of it is like the Patreon members that are included at the like $7 tier on Patreon include me, you, and that's and when we first made the Patreon, it was me and Ridge were like, all right, we're gonna put some money into this Patreon. A little bit, please. And the idea was this was our way of saying we're committed to this and we're going to
Yep.
keep putting money into it monthly through this thing. And that was, I think, where we started with it. And Kevin can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man. If he wants to subscribe to the table pit, that's fine. But originally, that was the idea. Was it actually wasn't a way? I mean, we said it in videos and stuff like that, and it would be cool if someone did put money in. But it was actually just a way for us to set aside money at negative interest to save money at negative interest to
but to commit to it.
Yeah, exactly. So where were you going before I cut you off?
So for reference, I have made $230 off YouTube, almost entirely ad revenue.
That's less
the
than
year that I have had
I made on shirts.
I have made about $1,550 off of Medify, $1,480 of which was from the Prism Guide in the last year.
That's
so
healthy.
I'm gonna read. It's not bad. It's not as much as most, though.
No,
that's actually relatively low for Flesh and Blood Medify. It's probably middle of the road.
Okay, interesting. I'm not up to date on the Medify meta.
So and the line I gave on Bluesky yesterday is, if I was doing this off of what my real life job says my time is worth, I'd never make anything for Flesh and Blood. I'd never make a piece of content, because that 1,800-ish after costs on stuff that I've bought just for content, I am less than 50 cents an hour. That is less than 1% of what my real life job says my time is worth.
Bro, just run ads. What are you doing?
That is with YouTube ads.
Oh.
That is with YouTube ads. That's where the YouTube money is from, is just from pre-roll ads. There are no mid-roll ads on any of my videos.
I thought everyone made money on YouTube. What? I thought YouTube was where the money's at.
Not at this size.
Not
at 1,500 subs.
Not here. Not in Flesh and Blood.
Correct.
I think there's like 2 people who could attempt it.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler, that's like...
Tyler
that's where I'm at.
Of the Fab Cube is also saying that and the data set, the amount of hourly rate he gets is roughly 50 cents as well.
Yeah. So the piece that like broke me and kind of, I think, convinced me that they're not doing this for the community anymore, this is a product for them too, is Oot says, also, we're not even the same magnitude of a competitive wage for software development. So what you're asking us to do is less transparency. When people were asking for what their numbers look like on Talishar, asking us to do is less transparency and more publicly asking us to admit we value our time at a fraction of the going rate. Content creation. That's you.
You broke your microphone when you did that. Like, it sounds super blown out now. Wait, say things?
Yeah.
Okay, you're back. You're already back.
A little bit.
All right.
This is that. When I read that, I was like, no, this is them trying to make money off of it. This is not, as everyone says, them doing it for the thrill of the game, or the thrill of it, and to support the game.
This is software development.
This is software development. They're treating it like their job, which is totally fine for them to do if they're willing to say it and not act like this is some free service and community project and passion project that they're still offering.
I feel like using Medify or even Patreon for this is like, okay, it's the way you have to do it, sure. But that feels almost like ironic because that's not what it is.
Sure.
It's not you're not. I'm sorry. Medify and Patreon are typically for content creators, to give benefits for people subscribing to them or things like that.
For
voluntary
subscriptions and donations.
That's the point that I keep dropping, is that this isn't voluntary. You're doing ads, or you're doing.
We're paying.
Yeah.
We are paying. And actually, I'm very curious, Tyler, how much time would you say you have spent working on Talishar
Oh,
out
that's
of
we
curiosity?
were going to ask him that question. I forgot. Um,
Yeah.
the other thing I was going to
If you're
say is
still
if
here, I would be curious to hear that.
I was going to someone I think someone could push back and say, "Well, there's ads on YouTube." And it's like, "Well, there's ads on YouTube whether you subscribe to Patreon or not." So the
Whether you
ads on
subscribe to the
YouTube,
person or not,
subscribe
too.
to the person or not too, the ads are for YouTube. That's their monetary
Yes.
stream. Now, and I still fully believe this because YouTube does this better than like any other platform on handing out money. They graciously give people money. They could give them more maybe, but nobody gives as much as YouTube does.
Sure.
That's very public.
I was genuinely pretty surprised when I saw how much
YouTube gives out money.
I was getting.
They generate the base code for all the cards from the data
From the
set.
base.
So whatever I've spent on the data set I get, it
So
sounds like a
I'm going
lot.
to I'm going to ask a question here, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine. Have they paid you anything for that? For the use of the data set? I'm gonna say for the use of the data set. Have they paid you anything for that?
This is gonna turn down like the villain like path. Like this is gonna the bad ending where the data set costs
I
money, which is something I
because
think I told him to do a while ago.
because this is a genuine question of like, I know other people have asked this where it's like, do other contributors get anything out of their split? Because when I asked for the numbers, Oot and Jotrick said we split this 50-50 between the two of us of the Metafy money. They didn't say anything about anything else. So if there's something there that I don't
If you
know
don't want to
about, I
answer,
would
you
like
don't
to
have
know.
to answer.
Open source, so they don't have to, but no, they have not. Okay.
Okay. Sure. I mean that is like how open source
Yeah.
works.
Yep. It is. I would potentially like to see that changed now.
Which actually that leads into one part of what Tim said. Earlier, Tim Scrogg said 2 takes. He's at the gym right now, unfortunately, so he can't be on. He's too busy deadlifting my weight. He said, no one should submit code for free anymore.
Yeah. If you're selling a product, you probably shouldn't make it open source. And I think that's part of their argument of how they're trying to say it's free still. Which I'm still going to use their own logic and say it's not free.
Also, that's not what I think of when I think of open source. Like at all. Like when I think of open source, I think of like it's almost like a gift. It's like this is
it's
go ahead.
It's a passion project.
It's a passion
project.
It's a community project.
It's not a paid project.
There was one I heard about, which I know very little about, but it was embroidering machines. Especially older ones have very specific code that they run off of. That's very proprietary, and it's impossible to use without like a manual that costs a lot of money and specific programs in order to access things.
And then like the company goes under.
The company goes under, and then you don't have that anymore. And so there's like some people who are working towards. I know very little about this. I've just heard about it. There's people who are working towards building an open source program for people to use old embroidery machines that didn't pay for like the service, and they can't pay for it now because the company doesn't exist. And so it's more of someone has a passion project, they create a thing, and they're just like, I was going to make this for myself.
And they just post it.
But here, y'all have it. Yeah. I'm not charging anything, and you can edit this. It's got the whole code right here. If you know what you're doing, you can make changes to what we did. And that's the funny thing is I feel like with open source Talishar, you'd have more Talishars. Almost. Maybe
yes and no.
Yes and no.
It's like why if it's free,
maybe like a private. Well, if it's free, maybe like a private Talishar.
Yeah, I mean I've tried to do that.
It sounds like a lot of work.
It was.
Yeah.
I gave up relatively quickly. Open source necessarily equates to cannot make money. Ethos definitely differs person to person. Okay. Examples of open source projects having default hosting solutions that are paid, but anyone can host their own if they want. Okay. That's a little surprising to me, and I guess my ethos is definitely on a little bit more
I think that makes more
Swift
sense.
thing, my baseline.
I think that it differs person to person makes more sense because I've used it
Sure.
used in many different terms.
That's fair.
But I guess I never really looked into it. I actually want to get into the second thing that Tim said, and then I have another thing that I previously thought, and I don't know if I agree with it anymore. So he said the ads are actually predatory. Yeah, he said, yeah, take two. The ads are actually predatory that are being used on the site, especially when it takes over your whole screen without consent, right? So I've had it. I've only done it once.
They're gonna argue that your consent is clicking the button. I think my issue is
it does. There is like a button that says like
screening the ads.
Oh no, they use an ad.
They have a provider through Metafy.
If
I recall correctly. Yes. So actually,
oh my gosh,
that number
so
that they posted,
I thought it was Google. Okay.
No, so the number that they provided actually does include their ads because they run that ad provider through Metafy. So that is the actual number that they're getting. That is post ad revenue.
Sure. Okay.
That was something that they didn't mention until later in that whole conversation. But that was something I learned. I think it was yesterday.
McAfee. Like, holy frick.
Oh yeah, when McAfee actually like pulls up another tab or like pulls you to another website. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of an ad auto pulling me to another website or like auto downloading something.
No.
I had one that their ads.
No,
and I'm gonna take issue with that no matter what.
I've been on the computer since Facebook was invented. So I know what an ad looks like, and I know the severity of ads. There's some ads you can click on that lead you to an eBay purchase, and that's fine. It's like, okay, it took you to the website that you were clicking on. Or like an ad will take you to a site that it thinks is relevant to you. But we've all seen the ads that are like, do this one crazy thing that doctors don't want you to know. Like, you don't click on those ads. Like that is the most predatory ad, and it will give you some kind of problem or try to trick you into purchasing some kind of thing, put your information in the wrong way. And the ads that I got were not clickable. It's one thing if it just says McDonald's in the corner and it's subliminal advertising making me. There was some at the bottom of the corner when people were playing Talishar that were just like local businesses. And I was like, okay, sure. I don't need steel tubing right now, but I guess if I did, I would go to this place. But it's different when it's just predatory ads.
Yep. And I don't like that.
No, that's not good.
Single fab players in your area? No, there aren't. Don't lie to me. Essentially close your game. Yeah,
I think we have an even split of single and non-single fab players in our area. Anyways.
No, it's the hot part that I disagree.
Oh. I think we have an even split of hot fab players in our area.
And not hot fab players?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just trying to say funny things. Mm-hmm. Distract from the pain. I think.
But so then this is also like I've been running an ad blocker for I don't know how long, and I actually didn't notice when they put ads in the bottom right corner of Talishar because of the ad blocker.
Oh.
I didn't know because the ad blocker just stopped it.
Well, I didn't know because I had premium. I didn't know until I watched the Tim Scruggs Variety Hour that it had it.
Yeah, but like
Tim's the only one out here getting scammed.
The ads were not. They're not great.
No, they're not screened. Bad.
And so that starts feeling tacky. And the comparison that I heard on Monday that has stuck with me is it is now just a mobile game where every 3 levels you have to watch an ad
Every
and
three levels.
it's auto clicking the skip button for you because it's only 15 seconds. Or you can just pay and the ads go
Or you just
away.
pay and just ads go away. The difference is the game quality is a little better. Except for I did get a turn 2 concession. That just counts straight towards one of your rusts. I don't know. I think they might have changed
because you're a member.
Well, I'm a member.
So it doesn't count for your opponent either.
Yes, that's another thing. That's the other thing is there's no great communication that I've seen unless they put it on their website in the last 24 hours on what all the because like it's like when you first play Flesh and Blood and you're just like and they're just like you attack and then they block and then you see your first defense reaction and they're like, well, this, and it's like they try to play an instant in reaction step and then you respond to it with a D react and they're like, no, but this is an instant, and it's like there's more to it. Like there's a comprehensive rule to Flesh and Blood that that is under the hood. Right now, there's a weird comprehensive rule to how ads work on Talishar that's under the hood, and it's not on their, I don't know.
Yeah. So Tyler, I don't like the change. For exactly the same time.
Actually, do you want to read that real quick and I say something different?
So Tyler from chat is saying, for what it's worth, my stance has been that a lot of the software side of content creation is somewhat taken for granted by the community /LSS. So I don't necessarily begrudge them trying to get more money.
True.
However, I think the communication around it needed to be a little more upfront / communicated, I'm going to guess clearly. Also, I personally dislike ads for exactly the same tacky reasons, and there's a reason why I don't have them on the Fab Cube, even if it's costing me money. I'm on exactly the same page as someone who is directly contributing to Talishar here, which is I would prefer these ads didn't happen. I understand why they're happening. I don't disagree with the motivations. And my biggest issue is the poor rollout and communication. Because the biggest example of like why this feels like a money grab to me is because they roll it out and within 20 minutes, somebody says, hey, it says no ad available. I can't clear my rust counters and get back into a game. I'm just locked out.
Unless you pay $5.
Unless you pay $5. But like, they just straight up got locked out of the game.
Oh,
and it's like, you didn't test this properly. So
regardless if they fixed it now, at the time.
Yes. This is something where someone can get locked out of the game and should know that's a possibility. And you didn't test for this case of where it just like wouldn't load or whatever. And it wouldn't auto clear rust counters because an ad's not available or something like that. It's like, that makes it feel like a cash grab because you did it as soon as you thought you had the code done.
Listen, I have never pre-ordered anything, and I'm very anti buying a game in its alpha or in its beta or in testing. And as a video game product, as a product specifically, I don't think I would pay for Talishar. And
really.
Here's what's up. This is my bombshell. Is I've been paying for Talishar for years at this point.
Yeah.
Since they had a Patreon, I worked with Rachel, and she was like, "No, you cannot just spend $5 on a free game." And I was like, "Okay." Then per month. And then eventually she wanted, I don't know, Netflix or something, and we made a deal. And my stance at the time was, I know Jotrick. I met him in person. He's great. And I've worked with Monk before. I love these people. I love the content they do. Yep. I'm going to subscribe to their Patreon. And when it changed to Metafy, I hated that because Metafy is a terrible platform. And I changed over to Metafy anyways, and I was subscribed to them on Metafy. And then after they did this, I did a lot of soul searching, and I think I couldn't put into words what we've been talking about tonight. But I don't want to pay for a product, but I would pay to support somebody
the individual.
doing, yeah, I would support an individual. And
Sure.
even though I would support these individuals in their passion projects, this is not that. And so I actually
Yeah.
unsubscribed, and I'm a free user now. And
Oh,
this is me talking at my alcoholics. Hi, my name is William. I'm a free user now, and it's because I make not good money.
sure.
This was an expense where Rachel and I had to sit down on the couch and
Had to negotiate.
had to put
That's
hands on each other's
that's
like hands and just be like, listen, money's
we can
tight.
handle this.
We'll just eat less out this week. I don't know. Like we just
It's $5 a month,
yeah,
but it's $60 a year.
it adds up fast. We have very little subscriptions in our household for that
Yep.
reason.
Same.
So yeah, $60 a year is like
I've
that's wild to think of it. That's part of the reason,
That's
dude.
not a small amount.
I lost. I'm gonna argue I lost friends in high school from them being like, "Yo, we need to play World of Warcraft," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm not paying monthly on a video game. Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
And it's not that I actually lost them. It's that that's what they put their time into, and their friends all also played it, and so we
Yep.
grew apart, and that's just how it works. And
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going to pay for it. I'll watch the ads. My time is less valuable. This is so bad. I'm probably just going to play Flesh and Blood less. Is what it's going to be.
Yes.
I'm just going to play like my 3 games a day. I'm going to hit an ad, and instead of hitting an ad, I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to play.
Counters don't reset daily.
What?
The counters don't reset every day.
Did I assume they reset daily?
Yes. People asked about that, and they're like, "There's no plan to do that yet."
I was
As
like,
far as
3
I
is so
know-
generous if it's daily. I'll just play my 3 games.
I would if they reset daily, I would actually be so much more.
I'm going to come up with a macro that just clicks on the clear to watch an ad to clear, and then click that, and then go get lunch, and then come back, and I'll watch like 50 ads. And
you don't bank them either.
I know. I've watched 50 ads, but I only have 3 counters.
But like,
can I watch an ad to play Talishar and Flesh and Blood? I'm sure some heroes get better if you do that.
I'm pretty sure they don't clear.
Let me double check. I'm double checking actually.
Yeah, please do, because if I'm wrong on that,
that could be a change.
Would like to know. That is something that like had been discussed. I didn't see that it had been rolled out. I am not aware of them resetting. That was not a part of their initial release, at least. But I had actually never. This is worse than a mobile game? Yeah. That's what I'm saying, is this feels like a mobile game when they do this. If it reset daily, and it's like, okay, you're a big user, you're doing more than 3 games every day, all right, fine. That feels like a little bit better, but this is just like strictly every 3 games your account plays.
Okay, mine has 0 rust counters. They may have gotten rid of it.
Okay, I have played 0 games. Did you get 0 rust counters because you were subscribed?
Wait, is it 0 out of 3? Wait, I have rust counters and then I remove them, right?
You should have 3 and then you click the ad to remove them.
Oh, okay. I currently have 0 out of 3.
Okay, is that because you were paying before?
No, I built this account.
This is a fresh account.
I made a fresh account to like test it before I unsubscribed.
Okay. Do you want to go run 3 games real quick against my non-member accounts, and we'll see?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. All right. I think
in about 15 minutes we'll be. This is okay.
Wait, sorry.
Already a great improvement that they just posted, not for rust counters though. System message in about 15 minutes, 1:05 Eastern. That's not the time Eastern. We'll be rebooting the server to potentially fix sluggishness. This will disrupt all games in progress.
My game is really sluggish right now.
They have never done that before.
I will say, okay, this is another point in their favor, is they have been posting a lot of updates. The last like 4 days have been nothing but updates.
I
3 days.
would love for them to post all of their updates just once a day in a single package and not 5 times a day where all of the games crash because of each update. It's so strange to me because that feels like, and maybe it's just the time at which I happen to be playing, but it feels like there's multiple updates per day that crash games.
Okay, I now have 1 rust counter after losing the game.
And add a rust counter to all the non-members when they reset? What? Oh, when all their games crash, but they were playing a game?
Oh. Tim said he's going to not play Talishar until... Here's the other thing, is they were talking about how...
I have not played Talishar since the change.
Yeah, I have only played to test the changes.
Yeah.
On August 16th, they will make an update on...
money and stuff?
Update on money and stuff. I just played a game and I got 1 rust counter.
Oh, we're not going to be able to tell if there's a daily reset.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to tell. But I am going to be able to go into this account tomorrow. So
sure,
maybe it's something we bring up.
I'm going to just go take a look at the Discord, and I'm going to search reset.
Or daily, or words like that. I had to turn off Talishar. It was slowing the stream down. While you look for that, I'm going to talk about something different. When this first happened, my gut reaction was still negative, but in a different way. I made a post. I made a quote tweet. I understand that they're losing money running Talishar.
They're not.
That is not the case.
Nope.
But this will negatively impact the game in a huge way that will be unseen. This will turn away so many new players. I think after reflecting on this, I don't fully agree with myself anymore. I think there is a certain amount of players that will play 3 games.
Yep.
And then they will get off the computer. I think that I think people fail to understand how much people will see the first ad, like have to remove ads, watch an ad to clear, and they will not. They will just leave. And to be fair, they don't know either. And so they said on the 16th of August, they're going to check, because that'll be like, a reset of the...
That's like the 1 month.
The cycle.
Roughly.
Yeah. It'll be like, they'll have cycled through it, and they'll be able to see how many ads and things happened. What were you going to say?
From Monday, in the initial rollout of this from Aegisworn, I think there's a plan to reset the counters daily. It's just not implemented yet. Then why did we roll this out? This is part of my issue. Is they half bake this thing, roll it out, and it feels like a money grab because of it.
Tim says, I don't plan to play until the 16th of August.
I don't plan to play until they make a daily reset. I'll play 3 games a day.
I'm going I'll play 2 armories a week. That's my flesh and blood.
Yeah, if I play 3 games a day, honestly, that's probably fine.
It's unrelated, but I'm learning Riftbound. It did coincide pretty well, but that's just because I want to stay up to date on games.
Yeah, so actually, that is a point that I want to talk about, is the new player thing.
Okay,
so here's the fundamental issue with this ad program and new players. This is not necessary. In my head, when this first happened, I was like, man, if any new players get turned away from this, that's going to suck. But if they need this to keep Talishar running, it is what it is. They don't need this to keep Talishar running. This is not essential. So, if any, and it's not a net positive on the client.
No.
It's not.
I mean,
it's not a feature that
they could argue they get more time to put into it, and
no, they don't. Unless this generates enough money for them to go full time, which I don't believe it will.
Flesh and Blood is not that big.
Yes, the fundamental issue for me is Flesh and Blood is not big enough for that. That being said, from that, this is not essential, which means it is purely additive for them. If this turns away any new players because they go play 3 games of Sage and then get a mandatory ad,
they get 2 games of Sage, and then they get 1 person who rage quits, and then a mandatory ad,
and they leave and don't come back, that is on Talishar. Because this was not necessary. This is because they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a need. Mm-hmm. It was a want. And if any number of new players turn away from the game because of this, that's their fault.
They should take that up. They should internalize that personally. And I understand you cannot quantify that. It'd be hard. It'd be really hard to quantify that.
But it doesn't matter because this is at best neutral
and realistically negative.
And then can only be negative. And realistically, you will turn some people away from Flesh and Blood because of this. Because of this part. Ignoring the reactions of you, myself, and Tim, and players like us who just don't like the change, and I don't want to use the client anymore. It has turned me away from the client. If you turn new players away from the game because of this, because it is not necessary, and by your own numbers is not necessary, are you benefiting the game by doing this? And this is another piece where it doesn't look like a passion project anymore. Because you have implemented something. If you're doing this
for the fun of the game, if you're doing this for the community,
you wouldn't do this.
Yeah, you wouldn't do this. You would at least look for a different direction.
Yes. Yes, you would come to the community and be like, hey, we're looking for a little bit more because this is what we're making. This is what we're valuing our time at. Like, where would we go? What direction should we go in if we're looking to monetize a little bit more? And
Tim said if I got a McAfee ad during my first time playing, I would assume it's downloading malware.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to play this site again.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. That's been in place for 2 months. That's been in place for 2 months.
Come on, guys. Okay, all right. Step back. We're stepping back.
That's my issue.
We're stepping back just a bit. What are alternatives? And don't say go back to... Okay, actually, that is the first one. The first one is go back to what we were doing. You get to the 16th of August.
Yes.
You realize it's not tenable. It's not worth it. And you say, we're recalling all of it. We're going back.
Yep.
I think if you do that, and that there is maybe like familial pressure to like, not do this as much or make more money, or like if there's anything like that, then you reach out to people and you're like, hey, we need more people to help develop this, or we need more subscribers to keep this thing running, or like something like go ahead.
So I'm gonna
all right. I want to hear fixes. Is what I want to hear.
I'm gonna answer this with another point of why this feels like a cash grab and just doesn't feel good. When asked what the number would be for them to make off Metafy for them to not have ads, they said, we don't know. There is no point they are looking at.
That's like interviewer tactics where it's like, I don't know, what were you looking to get paid? It's like, brother, I'm looking to get paid as much as I can, is what it sounds like.
This doesn't sound like they have planned this whatsoever. Because if they had planned this and said, okay, we need to make this much for us to go full-time doing this, which then also means we can quit the other job, which means our the family stress gets to drop because I'm not spending 80 hours a week working. I'm spending maybe 50 if it's all Talishar.
Yeah.
But if we're bringing in this much money from Metafy, from raw donations, then I can make it full-time. And they didn't have that number, and they wouldn't give a number. Which, again, makes it feel like, I don't know, number go up good.
It's bad.
I could tell you exactly how much money I would need to make from all of my stuff if I wanted to go full-time in Fab. And it would require...
I'm so far away from it, I couldn't. I'd be like, I don't know, I'm not going full-time.
It's so ludicrously out of the realm of possibility for me at the moment. It's not worth a discussion.
Yeah.
I could tell you the number, or I could give you an estimate, I should say, I couldn't give you a
Not for the
specific
show.
number that I've done the math on.
Not for the show.
But like, if you can't tell me the amount of money, because you're talking about how you're not at a competitive wage for what software dev time is worth. Give us a number.
It sounds like someone who's like,
if you said,
ooh,
we're going to make a $400 tier that is all of our server costs, all of them in one chunk. And if somebody subscribes to that and will remove all ads from the platform, I will hit that button so fucking fast it'll make your head spin. I don't think you understand.
No, other people have said it too.
Yes. Someone suggested this in their Discord on Monday, and they're like, I don't know, that's a good idea, we'll look into it. And I asked today, I was like, hey, like, any update on this? And they're like, nah, we're not going to do that. And I'm like,
I didn't know you followed up.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I'm very proud of you for that.
They wouldn't give a number.
No, it's not to cover server costs. They make way more than server costs.
Before they added the Rust counter ads, they were 7x their server costs in revenue. 7 times their server costs.
I will say,
truly covered their server costs.
I will say it seems like the time you are dropping this in is you are probably getting into the show right now, which, thank you for watching. You should listen to all of this together, because there was a lot of...
was talking earlier.
Oh, was he? Okay, sick. Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yes. But back in the first discussion...
Oh, okay.
Actually, maybe even pre-show. I think it was pre-show. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was. It was pre-show. Okay. Just make sure you watch all of this in entirety, because we give a lot of qualifying statements. Yes. I don't know why I'm doing the Donald Trump hand thing.
Talishar
is really
absolutely essential to the survival of Flesh and Blood. It is synonymous with Flesh and Blood. Mm-hmm. They have done an insane amount of work up to this point for...
I subscribed to them on Metafy for years for their passion
generally
projects.
Worth way more than what they have received.
Yes.
Fully agree and understand with all of that. My issue is with the way they've communicated this and with the way they've rolled it out.
Yeah.
And part of it is that message right there, and people not understanding where Talishar is at financially.
And that's not on you. They have not communicated this very well.
It's why I asked the question on Monday. I was like, hey, would it be possible to see your finances? And they offered them to us.
So about the LSS factor. So I wanted...
Yes.
How do you fix this?
This show to be an hour.
I wanted, how do you fix this? How do you get back to ground zero? And the first option was, well, you just roll it back. It gets to be the 16th of August. It's not tenable. You take it back. You apologize. You go to the community, and you just, I just came back. Heck yeah.
And you be more honest with us. You be more upfront with us. I'm going to say it. Treat us with a little bit more respect that I think everyone is owed, in that if you're trying to make this your full-time gig, do the math.
And then say that.
Give us a number.
And then trust your audience and say that. But what I am saying is, another fix for this, and a lot of people won't like this. What if LSS just buys Talishar?
I think everyone would love that.
LSS wouldn't love that.
I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be so real. They need to drag their game out of the 1900s and just have a digital client official. Like, it's kind of, they need to swallow their pride. I understand their love of playing the game in the flesh and blood.
I'm listening.
But it doesn't look like Magic is having that problem anymore of people just play online. All the events are in person. You don't have to run any events online. You could literally just buy out Talishar right now, pay the devs a respectable wage for what the work they're doing.
Yeah.
And all of these problems go away. And you could do it so quietly.
There's like an overhead to it where you can like review things. There's probably a checks and balances process to make sure
all the cards early.
And get all the cards early.
And they don't need to rush 90 hours of work into 3 days or 4 days. 3 days. I don't care. It's not possible. 90 hours of work in 3 days, 72 hours. Do it. That's spoiler season for them. No, give them 4 weeks. Endersold is worse
That's
for the
so
community, but better
funny
for LSS.
because
Why? So,
that's
Tyler,
so
why do you think it would be worse for the community? If they just like very quietly did it and they don't try and like hyper monitor, they literally just run this platform.
Also, how
they
is
just
it
fund
better for LSS? Because my interpretation is LSS has a free client that they didn't have to do anything to it. If anything, they stifle it from time to time. And they are very public. James White is very public. This is Flesh and Blood to be played in the Flesh and Blood.
Bro needs to drag his game out of the 19th century or 20th century or whatever.
The 90s.
He needs to drag it out of the 1900s and understand
1994.
That this game will not
it can't
grow
live
in the way he wants without a digital client. If LSS is buying it, I don't see them not monetizing it. That's an understandable concern. I would hope they wouldn't try and hyper monetize it. Lots of double negatives.
I can see that.
Yeah. I would love for them to just leave the platform as it currently is and just pay for it out of product revenue. I don't know that they have that funding by any means. But like, if they just get to be full time on it, I'm gonna bet a lot of stuff gets fixed.
That's such a good point. I don't know if
digital booster packs. I mean, that can be a concern for sure.
Crazy Legs says, I don't know if this could hold up as an official client. Like, I think a lot of people give it a lot of credit because it's a fan-made product.
I think that's why they do it quietly. And by that, I mean they literally don't announce it, but they will link to it on their site, and they link to it as talishar.net. And they just bring it under the LSS umbrella. And I don't know how that would work, but this is in my head. This is how you fix it.
That's some industry company level shenanigans.
Just fund it. You kind of let them do their own thing. You get oversight.
They have a Metafy tier for 6 figures, and it just gets filled somehow by somebody.
Magically.
Hello, gamers. Dude, we've been talking. Is there any other solution? How do they fix this? How do they get what they... well, I shouldn't say how do they get what they want.
I mean,
but
I think it really is just like, tell us what your goals are and what you're trying to do. Communicate with us.
Actually, this is also a call. This is on me. I didn't run this by my constant co-host Kevin Smurph Murphy. If anybody who of the 2 to 4 devs, freaking, I don't even know who works for Talishar. If anyone who works for Talishar just wants to be on the show and give their take, sure, argue with us, and when I say argue, I mean it in the most polite way possible. We'll be respectful. Yes. We handle arguments. You know,
we can debate this as long as you want.
Sure,
I'm happy to. The whole point of this show is that we get to sit down and talk and not be limited by 300 characters, and that's been almost all of my struggle the last 3 days looking at this. Is like I can't express everything I need to.
Your post
by writing it
has so many comments on it, and the comment chains are so long.
Yes.
A content creator grant for Talishar?
Hey, wild.
They don't make content, though.
Healthy debates aren't arguments.
Argument.
I don't know that I agree with that.
I love that you said that, because in America, that is 100% true, because that's how we culturally understand the word argument. But argument just means a discussion in which a disagreement is expressed, a debate.
It's synonymous with debate when used properly.
Yeah, when used properly. I mean, there's culturally we allow other things like disputes and quarrels and art and I almost said arguments. Yeah, argument's synonymous with argument. I mean to say we'll have a healthy argument or an unhealthy debate.
An argument is just a debate where your baseline is a disagreement.
Because you can just debate on things. You can just debate on things
You can
for
debate
whatever.
something where you agree.
Yeah. And we do that on here too. I just like arguing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. Speaking of which, I do want to offer one little bit of devil's advocacy for them on this.
Okay.
A 15-second ad is not that much.
Bro, it really ain't. And I've been thinking about that all week. I'm just like, man, I can sit through an ad.
I've done that for years. That I don't have.
We're Americans, we're used to it.
For
debate on debating.
It's a 15-second ad. It's not a 5-minute ad. It's not a 3-minute ad. It is if it stays a 15-second ad.
If it stays a 15-second ad. To be fair, mine was a 15-second ad that didn't auto clear. I had to clear it myself. Yeah, and it was not in English, so I didn't know what the clear button was.
Yeah. Again, debugging is part of my issue with this. But at some point, I'm probably just going to start playing Talishar again because I want to play Flesh and Blood, and because they effectively have a monopoly, and also the whole. You want to have more transparency on the community project? I mean, yes. I mean, I feel like I got the transparency I wanted, and I want their communication to be more consistent. But also the response of well, it's open source, anyone can go make it. It's okay, one, no, two, people won't because they don't, because most people don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if people did and just basically made private Talishars for teams, that would also kind of be really weird.
One of our only
toxic in its own way.
One of our only subscriptions is YouTube. And we did not get that subscription to get rid of ads. We got that subscription so that we could play videos with the screen off on our phone. We would just watch we don't watch TV shows. We don't really watch movies. We just watch YouTube. We would have just kept watching YouTube as our primary form of entertainment, video entertainment.
Yeah, I definitely bought premium while we were in Yokohama so that ads would stop playing on my iPad as I was screen mirroring to the hotel room TV.
Well,
I don't have ad blocker on my iPad. I have it on my computer.
Well, see,
I just didn't have it on my iPad. And now I get the benefit of I'll hit play on a video, I'll hit the sleep timer, and then I'll turn off my iPad, but it'll still play and I fall asleep to whatever video is going.
We're so different. I'm just yeah, I'll watch the ads.
I was okay with that for the first 2 hours in Yokohama. And then Wyatt was like, bro, do you not have premium? And I'm like, no, I've never needed it. And he's like, brother. Total ad time during the stream.
We'll get to that in a bit. I think the last thing I wanted to bring up, this is, yeah, we'll get to that. I think the last thing I want to bring up, I think I want to get to that after the show, is, or at the very end. The last thing I wanted to bring up is I got a text message from family members that were just like, hey, we don't know what you're talking about, but we watch your show. And as someone who's worked with, businesses my whole life, and they've given me a really long, thoughtful message about the entire conversation. And they're like, we don't know what the buzzwords are, what a Talishar is, but sure. We understand the process.
Yeah.
And it's just this is it's universally at this point, it feels like anybody who looks at all the information, which it's not all public, is just what's going on here? This is terrible. This is not for the consumer.
Yeah.
Their words were, frick. I lost their specific words. Jeez. I lost the point. They sent a lot of messages, but they were basically to the point. They were basically to the point of just whenever they go whenever a service moves to a product, it will always benefit the company and it will always provide a negative impact on the consumer. It is not a neutral impact, but like to a negative. I think they probably lead with an example of where they were getting a service from something and then it turned into a business.
So, like Rust counter ads,
Like Rust Counter ads.
where it provides something to the devs and only negative stuff to us. Yeah. Hmm.
The only reason any business sells ads is to generate revenue.
Yep.
And if they can make a decent amount of money on it, they can make an even more decent amount of money. That's how business works. That's how profit works. That's how
Hmm.
efficiency and humans work.
Yep. Which, again, if this was about keeping the lights on, I wouldn't have an issue.
Here it is. They were like, Smurf's right. They call you Smurf. Smurf's right. At best, it will be a neutral for the company. At worst, it will be a significant loss for the players.
Yep.
Bummer. Bummer.
I don't. As soon as they showed me the numbers for what they were making, it changed my whole perspective on this. Because like I saw the change and I'm like, I don't like that. That doesn't click with me. And then I looked at and I was like, okay, well if they would shut down without it, sure. But let's just see if they give us numbers. And then they did. And I'm like,
And then they
so
did.
y'all are fine in terms of running Talishar.
I think even if you just spun it as in like, hey, we want to quit our jobs, and then they were upfront about that, and as you said, they had all the numbers. It turns out very well. I don't know.
Devs getting paid for time/effort is a positive for us to play Talishar. The alternative is not having Talishar. So here's the problem.
Okay.
This feels like
I guess we didn't
Crazy
address
Legs.
that. Yeah.
No. So this feels like Crazy Legs. The piece that for me just says this they want to make more money is each of the two devs, Monk and Jotrick, Private Void. They were each taking home $1,500 in revenue per month. This is numbers that they posted themselves on their Discord publicly. And they stated that their server upkeep and all the other upkeep, domain name, stuff like that, was $200. They were each profiting $1,300 per month at over 6 times their server costs. So their server costs are well and truly paid for. And at no point has it, and that doesn't, to me, say that the alternative to these ads is that Talishar goes down. Unless they choose to stop working on it. Because unless these ads suddenly jump them to enough money to do this full time, at which point they'll probably need to more than double their income from Talishar with these ads for that to be true. More than double. Because they're currently at about $8 an hour.
To be fair, the way the ads work, if you get a screen ad every game, like let's say
more.
It's just so much more, but it only gets so much, right? Like the ads will only give out.
So if the alternative was Talishar goes down, the only way that would be true is if they couldn't continue doing this part-time.
I feel like the conversation's different if that's true. The conversation's like, hey, we can't do this anymore. Yes. We literally can't.
Yes, and it's not that. Spending that month, $1,300 each, and there's 2 devs that are getting paid out for it. There's 2 other major contributors to Talishar, being Tyler Luce, who manages the data set, from which all cards are generated. And Aegis Sworn is the other, I think, major contributor to Talishar, who does a lot of the coding. Person,
but yeah, it might just be those 4.
Might be. Aegis Sworn is the one that immediately comes to mind. If there's another one, and someone in the chat,
he's the one that's like answering like all the bug reports. Like anytime someone's got a bug, he's like
he also programs a lot of the cards in spoiler season.
Yeah. Oh, sick.
They said 30 plus hours per month or per week, excuse me, that they were working on it. Um, when I give them 40 hours a week at 1,300, that's $8 an hour they're getting, which is not software dev market pay by any means. It is also far more than most content creators are making per hour in Flesh and Blood,
which we went over.
Yes.
I feel like we're rehashing stuff we've already talked about.
Yes, but that's because people weren't necessarily here for all of it, which is fine.
But I think
main pushes around new sets / cards. Yeah, we'll wrap up after this.
Yeah.
Agreed. What work is there? Whatever features they want to implement, as well as whatever bugs come up.
Oh yeah, lots of bugs actually.
And they
new cards.
Their turnaround rate on bug fixing is immaculate. It's immaculate.
Sure, but this also crazy like
two devs get
it's
paid
not a job.
30 hours a week. 1,300 is nothing. I agree. 1,300 is not like full-time wage. It's not. But also they have to get to probably 3K a month each. And I don't think these ads do that if they're trying to actually change their situation.
I lived in an apartment on 725 for a while. 750. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even touch the IP issue. I'm assuming LSS understands that they need Talishar to exist for the game to be good, and they're not going to mess with it. And that's my theory about why there's not going to be an IP issue. So if their thing was about the other two devs getting paid, I would like them to have said that. We also had Tyler Luce in the chat earlier. He has never been paid directly for anything he has done on the data set, which feeds Talishar.
Mm-hmm.
He has never been paid for that. And as far as I know, they haven't discussed that with him. But this is what he told us tonight. So, I understand that money is not a lot for software dev work. It's not. But at the same time, the way they talk about it, it feels like it's because server costs and all this stuff, and people keep mentioning that, and it feels like it's misunderstood there. A lot of free time outside it. I need more money to make it worth my time. So, this is where it's transitioning from it being a passion project, something you're giving to the community, where most content creators come from. They're transitioning it into a product, and they are totally allowed to do so. They're 100% allowed to do so. We're okay with that.
Yeah.
But they still want to be treated like content creators and like it's a passion project. Not a paid project, not a product.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine if it's a product. I don't like it, but they're well within their rights to do so.
I went over previously about how if it was a passion project, I would subscribe to the Metafy because I want to support them as individuals. If this is a product, I would rather have the ads, and I will not subscribe to them, and I will play less Flesh and Blood.
Yes, and my issue with that is I want them to be honest, because they talk about, one of the specific messages from them was them being transparent with their finances is them admitting, hang on, I want the exact wording again, because...
Hey, Tyler, after the show, do you want to just get on and chat?
Yeah. Asking us to admit we value our time at a fraction of the going rate. I am doing the kind of work I did in grad school where I wrote academic papers, and I'm doing it for less than 50 cents an hour, equivalent.
On Prism, on your YouTube channel.
I'm doing it for less than 1% of what my job says my time is worth. And I'm doing that because I want to give back to the community. And the number of people that I've seen say that they do this for the thrill of it because they love the game, all that stuff. This change is not that. It's not. Because they're already making,
again,
16 times more what I am.
A lot of our problem was with communication and with implementation. How they implement the rollout. And I think that's our large issue. If they want to turn this into a product, that's fine. But we're going to start treating it like a product. I expect more of them. There's a bunch of stuff that comes with it.
Yep. And they are fully allowed to do this.
And we think in the whole, it's a negative. It could even potentially turn away players and that's completely on
Yep.
them if they turn away players. And
Yep.
we have now rehashed the whole show.
In
Which
8 minutes.
actually, you know what? I'm just going to edit this whole thing down to the last 8 minutes. That's really the whole show, honestly. I think personally I should be able to, and I'm going to basically just quote like everybody in the Talishar general chat because they're all great comedians, and like any good comedian, I'm going to steal their quality joke. I should be able to watch an ad to give my CNC +1 power at reaction speed.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
In real life,
for a third time,
dude.
I thought real hard about making a video on.
We might do it again
in
real time. I want Tyler to come on so he can say the same things again.
Yeah, I would love to discuss this with Jotrick and Tyler and Nate and.
Oh, that would be sick.
I would love to discuss all of this with them.
Yeah. But I think that about wraps it up. We've gone way over. We've had conversations that I genuinely thought were much more pressing at the time, and we talked less about them. We have gone over this so much, and it's because we care, and it's because we've been thinking about it a lot, and it shows that the players who play Flesh and Blood the most have the strongest opinions about this because they think about the game a lot, and they think about how this impacts the game and themselves. But, Kevin, you got any shout-outs? Got any armchair armories?
I have some that everything is spliced together and ready for me to record over. And I'm going to be honest, the change on Monday took some of my motivation away for it.
Well, here's William. This was another thing I was going to say at the end of the show. Was Kevin, I watch them. I do really like them.
Okay.
If you would do it.
Thank you.
For me and for all the people who comment on them, because that's who you give content to.
Yes.
And
sure,
we appreciate it. Now, whether or not you do, it's up to you, and that's completely fine. But I'm just saying, I look forward to them. And this is not a product. The ads you get on this, if you get ads, are to YouTube because whether or not you subscribe to our Patreon or whether or not you buy our merch, you will get the ads regardless. That is a YouTube feature. If you pay YouTube, those ads are removed.
Or run an ad block.
But if you want to support free content like this, you can subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/thetablepit. Or you can buy merch at thetablepit-shop.4thrall.com, where I am currently in first place with the amount of purchases. And if you want to usurp me and get this shirt, which is my favorite movie t-shirt, my favorite movie poster was when I made the Frankenmat and made a movie poster t-shirt. You can get that over at thetablepit-shop.4thrall.com. We also do a show called No Blocks, a chill Talishar stream where we don't block.
Is it still a Talishar stream?
Unless we do. Dude, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be very real about this. I wanted to bring this up. Wyatt and I have both lost motivation for doing it because of Talishar. I think he's also lost motivation because of where the meta is currently, probably. Sure. And we've been trying to find basically ways to spice things up. Not even for the stream itself. We have great conversations in it, and it's
for
great.
Y'all.
It's for us. We were talking about doing a cooking stream. We were talking about new ways to interact with all these Talishar ads. Like, it's just been... I don't know if we're doing it on Saturday, but I think we are motivated to do something stupid on Talishar. So,
okay.
I think that's what we're motivated to do. Some of the ideas were keep track of how long the ads were over the course of the stream. Another one was to click on all the ads. Just see where it takes them. You know, clearly these people are supporting Talishar for a reason, so let's go find out what it is. But I think that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. We do this every Thursday. Bye.